Hey guys, and welcome to Wednesday. Wow, it is midweek. Can you believe it? We are already almost halfway through our program on the UK target operating model. We're talking about safety and security declarations today as presented by the UK's target operating model. I'm excited that you tune in again. This is your essential debrief for UK exporters, importers, customs managers, agents, and advisors, and we will get stuck in right away. Hey, don't forget, this is a series of live stream programs on YouTube that we're doing on the target operating model. 2 days ago, we looked at the introduction, summary, timeline questions. So you can check that video out. Tuesday was all about biosecurity, SBS controls, veterinary certificates. Today is about safety and security declarations. Tomorrow, UK single trade window. Thursday, the most effective border in the world. You can see all of that live at 9 a.m. British Standard Time as the premiere rolls on or rolls out, and then on demand thereafter. Just go to the YouTube channel, click on it, subscribe with it. It's a simple click, easy as that. You'll never miss information on that again. So today it's safety and security declaration. Oh, what's all this about? Okay, so these things, they help you if you want to make sure there are no drugs or not that many drugs coming into the country, weapons, anything that could tick, you just want to know what's coming into the country. Now, by the way, side note, the EU is currently implementing its ICS2 phase 2 program, and that is causing quite a significant stir in the European Union because of all this data that's required. And that has to be submitted by the active means of transport, so by the carrier. So if you're importer, exporter, you may not even see these things, except you need to supply some information. But if you are asked questions or data element, if you need to provide data element that you don't have, and you are a carrier, you are an active means of transport provider, and you don't have the data, how are you going to do these declarations, right? So that's really important. And in Europe, there is a big stir because they are demanding the 6-digit HS code. And many people don't even know what a commodity code / HS code is. So how can you make a whole world provide you HS codes? Anyway, sideshow, right? We're talking about the UK target border operating model, and safety and security declarations are important to fight illicit trade and nasty stuff coming into the country. There are also legal obligations under the World Customs Organization's SAFE framework, so that requires the UK to take action. And in fact, this is not new because safety and security declarations have been rolled out in the EU since 2011, and they have been applied in the EU since 2011, and the UK was part of that. And they formally apply in the UK as well, both import and export. It's just a waiver has been granted for EU safety and security declaration. So they already exist for exports out of the UK, and they exist for imports from the rest of the world into the UK, but for the EU, there has been a waiver so far. So what's the new system like? Well, the government will require safety and security declarations to be submitted for goods arriving from the EU to Great Britain from October 2024. That's the plan. Those who already export from GB to the EU and import from rest of the world are already required to make safety and security declaration right now. And the idea is that there will be use of technology and to streamline the process and to submit safety and security declarations for traders. And that should make it significantly easier. In a nutshell, there are 3 key elements that I would point out for safety and security declarations. The first one is that we are going to make good use of data. That means first, we're going to require less data. And secondly, a better data. We want to reduce the amount of data required for the safety and security declarations, and we want to improve the service by removing duplicates. Well, that's pretty good, right? Second, we want to make use of the UK single trade window. Now, that is something that's being rolled out throughout the next years and is a game changer. I mean, I can't say it any other different way. Tomorrow, we're going to look much more closely into the UK single trade window. So I hope you tune in. Improvements to the way safety and security data is provided, so longer term improvements, will allow you to streamline these operations and make sure that you are submitting your data in the right way, in an easy way, etc. So the UK single trade window and safety and security declarations go hand in hand. And the third element is, of course, that you look at all of these declarations and you say, well, which one don't I need? So we're going to remove these requirements for some exports for low risk export movements. And that, of course, saves businesses time. So let's get started. Let's get stuck in a little more detail. As I've said, the first thing to say is that from, what was it, October 2024, this applies to imports and specific outbound movements. Reduces the safety and security data requirements from the current 37 field to the 24 mandatory fields, and the remaining 13 fields will be optional. So this is the first trade facilitation. We're going to have them. It's a trade burden, but we're going to make it easier. The 24 fields that are mandatory are here. And now, you may screenshot this again, or you may look at it right now, just go through it, scan through it, and tell me this. Is this a problem for you? Do you have this information? The answer is probably, in most cases, absolutely we do. Do you know why? Because it's in your invoice. It's already in your invoice. So this information is not controversial, I hope. Maybe the unique consignment reference number, but apart from that, should be all good. So this is good because it means your commercial information is the one that matters, and you don't need to start keying new information in or finding new information, new data that you don't already have. All of this should be available with the carrier, and end of story. But that also means that that information is available in a computer system with the carrier. See what I'm going here? You connect computers and then they feed it to each other. Human intervention, 0. Optional fields are here. For whatever reason you want to add it. Key point to note, it's box number 25, or field now, or data element 25. Commodity code. In the UK only, the commodity code moves to optional. EU, not optional. Do you see what's happening here? EU at a disadvantage because all traders, how will I get the commodity code? In the UK, problem solved. Optional. Think about it. Another thing that's important is the removal of duplication, right? So here's some examples of what this can do. Transit security, accompanying documents in place of separate safety and security and transit declaration. So we're going to combine them. It's for specific transit trade. So does that matter? I'm not sure. Okay. Then we have certain categories where we remove the safety and security requirements altogether. So that's good for certain categories. And then we remove certain outbound safety and security declarations. So this is the way we save data and we remove duplication. And of course, all will be optimized through the single trade window, because if the data is already there, I don't need to provide it again. So if the data comes from a source, and then I will feed the same source, well, the same information from me. Well, that doesn't make sense, right? If it's pre-populated, for example, I can already see that somebody put it in already. I don't need to put it in again. So that could help, but it needs the single window. Single window will make it easier to submit safety and security data. There would be just one place to handle everything: applications for authorization, simplification, trusted trader status. The data you have there, you can save in the single window, and then you don't need to enter it again, as I've just explained. It's a self-serving process in a way. The list of menus, and you pick which simplifications, authorizations, schemes you want to take part in. It won't happen overnight, but there's an ambitious time frame for rolling it out, so you better check that out. I talked about waivers, didn't I? Waivers meaning no safety and security declaration required. So 3 have been identified scenarios, supply chains where this is not needed anymore. So waiver number 1 is for outbound fish, for fish caught in the UK territorial seas and landed outside the UK. So you catch it in UK waters, you bring it to Norway, no export safety and security declaration required. Outbound transit movements, and then outbound free port goods. I'll let you read these details to save a bit of time. But all of that is reasonable, sounds good, and less is more. And with that, I'm going to leave it at this. Just remind yourself that the UK government's really interested in your opinion about safety and security controls as well. Here are some of the things that you should be talking about when you comment on these. So what other opportunities are there to deliver data more efficiently? What about other measures that you would like us to think about? Do we provide enough details for you to start making preparations for your safety and security model? If there's any further information, please let us know. Yeah, and then a specific point on amending the so-called ENS, safety and security entry data. So there you have it, folks. Again, another beautiful session. Quickly summarized safety and security declarations under the UK target border operating model. I hope you liked it. Did you get some value out of this? If so, give it a thumbs up on YouTube. They like this, the algorithm likes this. And I'd love a subscription. Then we can meet again, maybe tomorrow. Are you tuning in? Can't wait. You guys, bye.